What if war was never meant to end? Because some people never wanted peace. From Iraq to Libya, from Vietnam to Ukraine, every major war in modern history wasn't just about ideology. It was about profit. The real war is a business plan executed with blood, bullets, and broadcast news. Who profits? Start with America's top 5 defense contractors: Lockheed Martin, Raytheon, Boeing, Northrop Grumman, and General Dynamics. In 2003, the U.S. invaded Iraq over weapons of mass destruction, but none were ever found. What was found instead? Oil contracts, billions in reconstruction deals, and a $39 billion profit for Halliburton, where Dick Cheney once served as CEO. This isn't a conspiracy theory. It's a business model, one repeated in Libya, Syria, Afghanistan, and now Ukraine. They use fear, false flags, and media manipulation to sell every war, just like a product. Step 1. Create the enemy. Step 2. Arm both sides. Step 3. Rebuild what you destroyed and bill it to the taxpayers. The war machine doesn't just survive on chaos, it thrives on it. And it's not done yet. Wars don't just begin on battlefields. They begin on TV screens. Before the first shot is fired, the media fires the first lie. It's called manufacturing consent, and it's the first step in every war. In 1991, a fake story of Iraqi soldiers killing Kuwaiti babies helped justify the Gulf War. But it was a PR stunt paid by the Kuwaiti government. In 2003, U.S. Secretary of State Colin Powell held up a vial at the UN, claiming Iraq had deadly weapons. It was a lie. The media repeated it endlessly, not as reporters, but as megaphones for the war machine. And once the people believe the lie, the bombs begin to fall. The same playbook was used in Vietnam, in Syria, and in Gaza. Different enemies, same lies. Even today, the narrative is the weapon, and truth is collateral damage. Because once they control what you believe, they don't need to control anything else. For decades, war has been less about nations and more about the people and companies funding both sides. The biggest wars in history, often financed by the same global banks and the same families on both sides. Rothschilds, for example, financed multiple European empires and profited from both peace and war. Today, the players have changed, but the game remains the same. BlackRock and Vanguard control over $15 trillion and hold shares in nearly every major defense company on Earth. When war breaks out, their stocks skyrocket and their investors celebrate. The wars in Iraq and Afghanistan made over $7 trillion for U.S. defense, oil, and reconstruction firms. Halliburton, once run by Dick Cheney, made billions in rebuilding Iraq even as it burned. This is why peace is never profitable, but war always is. Because when war becomes a business, peace becomes a threat. No war begins by accident. Every war starts with a plan and someone pushing the first domino. One of their favorite tactics, the false flag. An attack staged to look like the enemy did it. It happened in 1964, the Gulf of Tonkin incident, when the U.S. used a faked naval attack to enter Vietnam. Then there's regime change, toppling governments that don't play by the global elite's rules. In 1953, the CIA removed Iran's Prime Minister, Mossadegh, for nationalizing oil. They replaced him with a Western-backed Shah. In 2011, they did it again in Libya, bombing the country while targeting Gaddafi for rejecting U.S. oil deals. They also arm both sides of a war, so no matter who wins, they get paid. In Syria, billions in U.S. weapons accidentally ended up in the hands of extremists. How accidental was it really? And while the public watches flags and headlines, they miss the real war being planned in boardrooms. Because the wars you see are only the final move in a game that started long before. The war machine isn't resting, it's preparing, and the next phase has already begun. In Eastern Europe, NATO has quietly expanded, placing thousands of troops along Russia's border. The war in Ukraine may be the front line, but it's only one chapter in a much larger global chessboard. In the South China Sea, U.S. warships are circling. China responds with massive naval drills. In Gaza, the bombs haven't stopped. Weapons contractors are making record profits. AI is being weaponized. Autonomous drones, surveillance satellites, and smart bombs are the new soldiers. Cyber war is next. Attacks on power grids, financial systems, and digital infrastructure are already underway. And behind it all, the same corporations and financial entities pulling the strings. They're preparing the public for global war, slowly, psychologically, one headline at a time. Because what's coming next is not a war between countries, it's a war for the future of control itself. War needs silence, not from the battlefield, but from you. Whenever truth becomes a threat, they label it dangerous, conspiracy, or foreign disinformation. In 2020, entire Twitter accounts were erased, not for lies, but for questioning wars. Journalists who expose war crimes are jailed, like Julian Assange, still in prison for revealing the truth. Meanwhile, those who promote war lie, cheat, and profit, and walk free. They also rewrite history, not in secret, but right in front of you. In American textbooks, the Iraq invasion is now described as a mission to stabilize the region. European museums still avoid the darkest parts of colonial history and glorify empire. Even film and entertainment are weaponized, telling stories that justify wars, sell fear, and silence truth. Because when they control your history, they control your future. If war is the method, then control is the goal. They don't just want victory, they want a world where you never question their power. Their vision of the future isn't peace, it's total surveillance. With war, they destroy the world. With peace, they rebuild it in their image. One government, one currency, one truth, all decided by them. But here's what they fear most: people waking up. It doesn't take a revolution, just refusal. Refusal to believe their lies. Refusal to stay silent. Refusal to forget what really happened. Because the moment you stop believing them, they lose everything. The world keeps going to war, not because people want it, but because power needs it, until we say no.